Good morning, students. Now, successfully, we are entering into the fourth unit in our engineering geology subject. So, here in this chapter, the first topic is water table, cone of depression, geological controls of groundwater movement. These three topics clearly step by step. We will discuss here. Guys, here groundwater. The first definition of what is groundwater. Guys, groundwater sources and zones, water table, unconfined and perched, springs, factors controlling water bearing capacity of rocks, previous and impervious rocks, cone of depression, and is and its use in civil engineering. Methods of artificial recharge of groundwater, geology of percolation tank. Geophysical investigations also is there, but necessity methods of surface and subsurface investigations, important of electrical resistivity method, seismic refraction method, and preliminary geological investigations, use of aerial photographs and satellite imageries in civil engineering projects. And guys, so in our previous slide, we will learn from this PPT, those all things. Now we come to the groundwater. What is the groundwater? The groundwater is considered a very important natural resources in arid, semi-arid, and dry regions. This may be the only source of water supply. Even in humid areas, groundwater is considered a better resource for many economic and hygienic reasons. Guys, here this is the surface of the earth. This is the unsaturated zone. This is the saturated zone. Here, when we compare to the some beneath the earth, water table is there. This is the surface of the water table. This is surface water, land surface. Here is cravered rocks and here gravel also some rocks is there. So groundwater has a shortable composition in most cases and is free from turbidity, objectionable colors, and pathogenic organisms and require not much treatment. Is relatively much safer from hazards of chemical, radiogenic, and biological pollution to which surface water bodies are exposed. Supplies are not quickly affected by drought and other climatic changes and hence are more dependable. Being available locality in many cases may be tapped and distributed at much lesser cost using very little network of pipes. Guys, here this is the figure groundwater. Uh, this is the water table. From this is the water table. So here some water table intersects the river or something. So guys, here and also in the hilly regions, uh, this is the H1 is the water table, H2 is the water table, and this is the pond, and this is the hill. Here guys, P1, P2 is the sea level. So source of groundwater, meteoric water. It is the water derived from precipitation, rain and snow. Although bulk of the rainwater or meltwater from snow and ice reaches the sea through the surface flows or runoffs, a considerable part of precipitation gradually infiltrates into groundwater. This infiltrated water continues its downward journey till it reaches the zone of saturation to become the groundwater in the aquifer. Almost entire water obtained from groundwater supplies belongs to this category. So this is the meteoric water, hot or molten rock. In the meteoric water, gas depleted thermal water. This is the uh, margin hot springs and Growler hot springs and gas depleted thermal water. Mount Conrad and it is some just these examples of the meteoric water. So canned water. This is the water present in the rocks right from the time of their deposition in an aqueous environment. During the process of formation of sedimentary rock in a lake or a sea or river, deposition is followed by compaction, which leads to the squeezing out of most of the water present between the sediments. Sometimes, however, incomplete compaction may cause retention of some water by these rocks, which is known as a canned water, and it may be found in rocks like limestone, sandstone, and gravels. It is saline in nature and is of no importance as a source for exploitable groundwater. So, guys, this is the groundwater. This is the figure. Land surface, brackish proper water and recirculation cell, submarine spring and sea water. This is the sea floor. Here's a fresh pour water, seepage at shore base. Here freshwater discharge. Here freshwater or saltwater mixing zone. So saline pour water and confining unit. Here fresh pour water, freshwater discharge, freshwater or seawater mixing zone. This is the saline pour water. Juvenile water. It is also called magmatic water and is of only theoretical importance as far as water supply scheme is concerned. It is the water found in the cracks or crevices of pores of rocks due to condensation of steam emanating from hot molten masses or magmas existing below the surface of the earth. Some hot springs and geysers are clearly derived from juvenile water. And distribution of groundwater. The water that goes below the surface of the land may be found to exist in two main zones or environments classified as Vadose water and phreatic water or groundwater. In the Vadose water zone itself, three different types of environment are distinguished: soil water, intermediate Vadose water, and capillary water. The soil water forms a thin layer confined to the near surface depth of the land. It may occur at a depth between 1.0 to 9 meters and is held up by the root zone of vegetable cover of the globe. It is lost to the atmosphere by transpiration and evaporation. The intermediate water zone occurs immediately below the zone of soil water. It is in fact a zone of non-saturation. Water in this zone is moving downward under the influence of gravity. It is generally of smaller thickness and may be even absent in many cases. The above zones are sometimes collectively referred as zone of erosion. The zone of capillary water, also called as capillary fringe, is present only in soil and rocks of fine particles size underlying the Vadose zone. In the fine particle size zone, groundwater is drawn upward by capillary action, sometimes to height of 2 to 3 meters above saturated zone, lying underneath. Growth of vegetation in some desert is very often dependent on presence of capillary fringe. So the soil water system here, this is the groundwater. This is the precipitation, evapotranspiration. This is the soil water. This is the groundwater. This is the stream. This is the surface runoff, evapotranspiration, water table, top of the groundwater. So this is the groundwater, guys. Here, flow groundwater. This is the zone of saturation. Here, water zone, capillary fringe, water table. This is the subsurface surface of the earth. The water table, air or sand grain water or well is saturated zone here, and Vadose zone, capillary fringe, water table. Dist- Distribution of groundwater. Ground surface evaporation. This is all the infiltration, and the zone of erosion is the ground surface. This is the zone of erosion, unsaturated zone, capillary fringe, water table, and the zone of saturation. Here, guys, soil or mineral or rock material, water, pore spaces. The phreatic water zone, also known as zone of saturation, lies below the capillary fringe and is the water held in this zone that is called groundwater in the real sense. The upper surface of water in the zone may marks the water table in the area. In this zone, the layers or bodies of rocks which are porous and permeable have all their open spaces such as pores, cavities, cracks, etc. completely filled with water. All these openings are interconnected so that a well dug into these openings are completely filled with water. There is no or very little downward momentum of groundwater. In all groundwater exploration programs, the main objective is to locate this zone and determine its extent, geometry, and character. So this is the groundwater imagination. This is the infiltration. This zone is the unsaturated zone. This is the capillary fringe. Here, saturated zone or groundwater. And guys, here also, this is the ground surface. This is the drilled well. Here, water table is the phreatic surface. Here is the impervious bed. So, forms of subsurface water. Water in the soil mantle is called subsurface water and is considered in two zones, saturated zone, erosion zone. Here, when you imagine water can soak into subsurface and become groundwater. Here, guys, this is we are taking rain from the clouds. This is the surface of the earth. Here, when we are taking the rain, automatically some water from the rain directly infiltrated to the ground. But these infiltration depending upon their type of rocks where they are existed. So, but finally, the rainwater through infiltration reaches the ground surface. Here, this line is the water table. This is the infiltration. So this is the impervious bed. Here also, this water table directly here connected to these ponds. So water table generally below surface, so water can seep in. Where water table intersects surface, water can flow out. So this is also groundwater. Water table higher in the water season, lower in dry season. Unsaturated zone, saturated zone only in wet season. Here saturation zone. This is the well water level varies with the seasons. This is the infiltration. So this figure just it's help to you enhancing your imagination of the groundwater. Saturated zone. This zone is also known as groundwater zone, in which all the pores of the soil are filled with water. The water table forms the upper limit and marks a free surface is called a surface having atmospheric pressure. So zone of erosion. In this zone, the soil pores are only partially saturated with water. The spaces between the land surface and water table marks the extent of this zone. This zone of erosion has three subzones. Here, guys, same and zone of erosion, zone of saturation. In zone of saturation also groundwater. It's also another name is the aquifer. This is the water table. This is the capillary fringe. The infiltration. Here is the water level, aquiclude, and virtual water table, soil zone. Soil water zone. This lies close to the ground surface in the major band of the vegetation from which the water is lost to the atmosphere by evapotranspiration. Capillary fringe. In this, the water is held by the capillary action. This zone extends from water table upwards to the limit of the capillary rise. Intermediate zone. This lies between the soil water zone and the capillary fringe. The soil texture and moisture content and vary from region to region. The soil moisture in the zone of erosion is of importance in agriculture practices and irrigation engineering. This is the groundwater. This is the soil. This is the bedrock or sediment. This is the unsaturated zone, capillary fringe, saturated zone. Saturated formations. All earth materials from soils to rocks have pore spaces, although these pores are completely saturated with water table below. From the groundwater utilization aspect only, such material through which water moves easily and hence can be extracted with easy or significant. On this basis, the saturated formation are classified into four categories. These aquifer, aquitort, aquiclude, and aquifers. An aquifer is a saturated formation of earth material which not only stores water but yields it in sufficient quantity. Thus, an aquifer transmits water relatively easily due to high permeability. Unconsolidation deposits of sand and gravel form good aquifer. So, this is the groundwater uh, confined aquifer, unconfined aquifer. This is the aquiclude, aquitort, or aquifers. Excuse me, guys. Guys, aquitort. It is a formation through which only seepage is possible and thus the yield is insignificant compared to an aquifer. It is partially permeable. A sandy clay unit is an example of aquitort. Through an aquitort, appreciable quantities of water may leak to an aquifer below it. This is also one of the control of the groundwater movement. So groundwater here, unconfined aquifer, aquitort, confined aquifer, low porosity and permeability, high porosity and permeability. Aquiclude. It is a geological formation which is essentially impermeable to the flow of water. It may be considered as close to water movement, even though it may contain large amount of water due to its high porosity. Clay is an example of an aquiclude. So guys, this is the aquiclude. This is the one type of the aquiclude. This is the unconfined aquifer. This is the confined aquifer. Aquifers. It is a geological formation which neither porous nor permeable. There are no interconnected openings and hence it cannot transmit water. Massive compact rock without any fracture is an aquifers. Aquifer. Formation of ground which contain water and may transmit water in usable quantity are known as aquifer. Thus, these are the geological formations in which groundwater occurs. Example, sands and gravel. Here, guys, unconfined aquifer open to earth surface and to infiltration. This is the unconfined, this is the aquiclude, this is the confined, and this is the aquiclude. So confined aquifer overlain by less permeable materials. Here, perched aquifer underlined by Perched aquifer underlined by low permeability unit. Here, artesian aquifer, water rises in pipe maybe to surface. So, groundwater. Aquifers are mainly of two types: unconfined aquifers, confined aquifers. An unconfined aquifer is the one in which water table forms the upper surface of the zone of saturation. An aquifer where the water table is the upper surface limit and extends below till the impermeable rock strata is called the unconfined aquifer. Confined aquifer. When an aquifer is sandwiched between two impermeable layers, it is known as confined aquifer. It is also known as a pressure aquifer or an artesian aquifer. Confined aquifers are completely filled with water and they do not have a free water table and the aquifer will be under pressure. This is the example of the confined aquifer sandstone. And guys, here unsaturated deposits. Here, this is the water table. Unconfined aquifer, sand and gravel. This is the aquitod or shale. Confined aquifer, this is the sandstone. So leaky aquifer. An aquifer bound by one or two aquitods is known as a leaky aquifer. It is also known as semi-confined aquifer, perched aquifer. Perched aquifer is a special type of an unconfined aquifer, an impermeable saucer-shaped stratum of a small aerial extent occurring in the zone of erosion may retain and hold some amount of water is called perched aquifer. So this is the groundwater. So guys, this is the uh, regional water table. Here the perched water table, unconfined aquifer, continuous impervious layer, here confined aquifer. So a water table is a free water surface in an unconfined aquifer, indicating the level of the water table at that point. The water table is constantly in motion, adjusting its surface to achieve a balance between the recharge and outflow from the surface storage. So this is the groundwater. Guys, this is the recharge, drainage divide, recharge. Here also, this is the discharge, groundwater flow path, infiltration. Fluctuations in the water level in a dug well during various seasons of the year, lowering of the groundwater table in a region due to heavy pumping of the wells, and the rise in the water table of an irrigated area with poor drainage are, excuse me guys. Guys, fluctuations in the water level in a dug well during various seasons of the year, lowering of the groundwater table in a region due to heavy pumping of the wells, and the rise in the water table of an irrigated area with poor drainage are some common examples of the fluctuation of the water table. In a general sense, the water table follows the topographic features of the surface. If the water table intersects the land surface, the groundwater comes out to the surface in the form of springs or seepage. Guys, this is the fault zone. Here is the basement. Here is the millennia and centurious and the years, recharge, mountains, discharge, and the groundwater flow path 100 kilometers to 1 kilometer. Aquifer character of common occurring rocks. Excuse me, guys. Guys, here cone of depression. Guys, here cone of depression or cone of exhaustion. In any gravity well, that is well dug in an unconfined aquifer, the static level of water coincides with the water table level of the surrounding aquifer. When water is pumped out in a considerable measure from the well, the level of water in it goes down, leading to the depression in the water table around the well in the form of inverted cone. This phenomena is called cone of depression or the cone of exertion. This is a temporary fluctuations in the level of water table because the original position is restored within a short period due to the seepage of groundwater from the sides of the well, that is the aquifer. The shape of this cone of depression on the water table around a pumped well depends on the permeability nature of aquifer body. Cone of depression, cone of or exertion. Cone of depression, guys. This is the impermeable material. This is the land surface. This is the well. This is the initial water level. But here this is the drawdown. Radius of influence, pumping well, well casing, and well screen. Here, cone of depression aquifer. Guys, this is the aquifer. Actually, water here like this. But due to high pumpage surrounding the wells, this is the formation of the cone of depression. That's why we have to call it as a cone of depression. In case of highly permeable material, the cone of depression is nearly flat, while in less permeable aquifers, it is very steep. The boundaries of the cone of depression is known as the groundwater divide. The area enclosed by the groundwater divide is termed as the area of pumping depression. The distance between the well and the groundwater divide is terminated as the radius of influence. This is the aquifer. This is the groundwater flow. This is the cone of depression. This is the well area of the influences. Actually, artificial leisure techniques is not useful to you. Uh, guys, actually, uh, two slides is there. This is the metamorphic rocks. This is the sedimentary rocks. This is the igneous rocks. So, uh, groundwater means maybe it will flow through igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic. We don't know, but we can identify the formation and the depth of the groundwater. Something. These all things we know by using the geophysical instruments. So, geophysical instruments also is one of the one of the our topic, but in the next topic I will explain clearly the remaining things. Guys, so from in this chapter we know groundwater table. I mean, the groundwater is the main topic, water table is the subtopic, and cone of depression also one of the topic, and controls of the groundwater movements also we discussed here. Thank you, guys.